Picture it, Los Angeles, 2024.
Oh, welcome to Out on the Lanai, the only Golden Girls podcast you're ever gonna need to listen to. I am HAlanScott / Sadie Pines.
I'm Kerri Doherty, and today we're doing another Golden compilation. In our continuing celebration of Pride Month, we are breaking down the Golden Girls' draggiest moments.
Wow, drag. You know, when you say draggiest moments, I mean, I am a drag queen, so like I know a thing or two about drag, but I also feel like, I don't know, maybe there's somebody else who's perhaps more qualified to talk about drag. Do we know somebody, right, Kerri?
I believe we do. I do vow to.
You do vow too. I do vow too. I wonder if they could just appear. Oh my God. Hi, Alaska.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Blessed, doing all the things. I love your David Bowie inspired B. Arthur shirt and your Shady Pines mug. You got it all going on.
I thought that we were going to be doing this on Zoom, in which case I was going to green screen Mr. Haha's hot dog hacienda. Someone has made like a logo for the business online. Like I knew that would exist.
I think you can still green screen here. I think you can still green screen on here, maybe with the camera. I don't know how.
Well, then watch out. 50 minutes in, I'm going to finally figure it out.
Happy birthday, Dorothy.
Oh my God.
Happy birthday, Dorothy.
He's so cute, but also like 50. It's really funny.
Yes.
That little boy.
Very, very much
not
fun.
as creepy, though, as thanks for the cat, lady. That child left that grocery store, went behind it, went over to the dumpsters and killed that cat.
That kid pet that cat too hard for sure, just like Rose.
Oh God.
Got too excited. How are you doing, Alaska? How's life?
Yes.
How's things?
Oh, just doing that thing I do. Just doing drag.
Yeah.
It's Pride Month. I saw Kylie Minogue. It's good.
Oh, nice. I mean, we have to say we love being a part of Moguls of Media. At the end of every episode, we give the love to Mom Plus and the Moguls and all of the things. So we love that we're in the family. We've talked about this before, but it's very serendipitous that we started the way we started, we met the way we did, and now we are a part of Mom, and it's always so lovely, and we love it so much.
It all just really makes sense, doesn't it? I love when things just organically make sense.
I do too. It feels right, doesn't it, Kerri?
It does. It feels right. I also, for a while, when we would say like, and we're a part of Mom, for me, the longest time, I don't know if you ever had this. Oh, no, wait. This might have been a regional thing. Do you know what Mom is? The Motion Odyssey movie at the furniture store. It was a virtual reality ride at a furniture store. Just me. Your face is okay. So you don't know.
No.
It was called Mom. And this was in like the late 80s, early 90s. You would literally go to Jordan's Furniture, a furniture store in Massachusetts. And they had a ride called Mom. And it was now like the simulator rides that you have at Disney, the Harry Potters, whatever. But this was well before that. And they had the little thing. Everybody would sit in it. And there was a giant screen. And you were on a roller coaster. That was part of it. You were flying through the air. They'd splash water on you. And then you'd like come out and buy a credenza or a love seat or something. It was wild.
At
amazing.
Furniture
and it was
store.
Called Mom. Yeah. At a furniture store.
That
These
is
guys
so
that owned Jordan's
smart.
Furniture, they were just like, this seems like fun and that people might enjoy it when they come to buy their coffee tables. So I loved it.
That is crazy and also genius in a way too.
It's very like the son inherited the family business but had no passion for furniture but always wanted to be like the next Disney. So he's like, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, he was always playing Sims Tycoon, all the Sims roller coaster rides.
I love that. And what's it stand for?
It stands for Motion Odyssey Movie.
Wow.
That's fierce.
Wow. That does sound like a Drag Race challenge in a way, doesn't it?
A Motion Odyssey movie?
A little bit. Well, Alaska, I did want to ask you, speaking of moms and mom, because I feel like we talk and we tell people to go to Mom Plus and like do all the mom things and listen to the other podcasts, but I don't feel like we ever really like Shady Pines, Mom, retirement home. I don't feel like we ever go into like why Golden Girls fans should listen to some of the shows that you have on Mom. So like, what about the podcasts that exist on Mom would Golden Girls fans love?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of like unintentional crossover. And like it really is very organic, and I think that podcasting is naturally organic. Like y'all started kind of organically, right?
Yeah,
Just cuz you liked
Golden Girls.
liked talking about the Golden Girls, so you got together and did it. And I think the best things in the podcast world just sort of like blossom and sprout on their own. So I feel that way about, of course, Race Chaser that I do with Willem. So like if you've ever seen Drag Race, it's definitely an unhinged way of, downloading what you've experienced by watching Drag Race. Also, Very Delta she basically is like a 1980s woman.
This is my Delta impersonation. I'm upset. I talk about this with everyone. I know I've talked about it on the podcast. Her hands, the way she uses her hands in poses. Like she'll do this.
It's unreal. Every photo,
you have to be watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this, and go to YouTube right now. Literally, it is the level in which I'm dying to get Delta on the podcast, but we also know, and you know this about Delta too, she doesn't do shit. She literally will not do she was going to do her own thing, and then she's going to go home and do her thing. And I love that. I love that. And during the height of the pandemic, I would watch a few Facebook Lives or a few Instagram Lives. One of them is Delta's. And it was so therapeutic. And I felt like I was a part of the Delta experience, if you will, long before she had the podcast. And then when the podcast happened, it was like everything that was great about her lives, but with like budget.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And she used to do these Facebook rants. I don't know if you ever
I do remember those.
Were aware of these, but it would be like someone would piss her off somewhere in her life, or like, and she would never say who it is, but she'd be like, what really bothers me is when some people who do this, and they would be so specific, so poetic, so beautifully written.
Shakespearean.
Yes. And Very Delta is like that. Those Facebook rants come to life in full color, and she's beautiful to look at.
And wait, the person on the other end 100% knows that it's them from reading it, because it's that specific without calling out their name, right?
Yes. Do you think she's Dorothy smart, or is she Blanche? I think she's Dorothy.
I think she's the Dorothy.
Yeah.
She has because Dorothy comes in the door with the shopping bags, and she's like, "Can you believe how commercial Christmas has become?"
Yes.
Delta's very much a Dorothy.
Yeah.
But she dresses like Delta Burke.
Yes, fully.
I'm writing a seriously worded letter to the president when he comes through on his motorcade.
I'm going to give him a piece of my mind.
God, I never want to come across Delta at like a Popeyes, because I know she's angry about something, and she's going to give an employee like there's going to be like the jam didn't come with the biscuit or something, and I'm just going to be like, "Oh, watch this." I love her so much.
And the thing is, if everyone does like if everyone does the bare minimum, I feel like everything's okay.
Everything's fine.
She's fine.
Yeah.
She's not asking for like red carpet. She's just asking for like the absolute bare minimum. And when that can't be provided, it is really frustrating.
Yeah. God, she's so a Dorothy. She's so a Dorothy on every level.
She is.
But everyone should go to Mom and go to subscribe and like listen to the podcast that the Mom is offering, because it's fun and it's queer and it's different and it's weird and it's unlike anything else out there right now.
Everybody in the comments is going to be like, we already listened to all those podcasts. What are you talking about?
I know, probably. Well, then you probably know. One of the things that tickles me every time I listen to Race Chaser is that the beginning is comparable to how we do our beginning, and how like I see the origins of you listening to us in Race Chaser so much. So it's like it always kind of tickles me that like that part of it is there. Obviously, y'all became a behemoth. You guys, I mean, legions of fans, just people just eating you up left and right. Live
entire
shows,
villages, surely.
entire villages, you know. I mean, but I love hearing it. It's so wonderful.
It's like an unauthorized Elvis fan club.
What Dorothy made a joke that she was surprised he left any pork chop left, and that's like what got her kicked out. Does that
You're
feel
out
like
of
a
the
Delta
club.
thing? Yep.
You're out of the club, Dorothy.
Oh my god. Oh, I would be Dorothy in that situation because I don't care about things like that. I'm not a sentimental person, and I would look at it and be like, that's gross. You guys are weird. This is too much.
Oh, come on. You would, if you had an opportunity, you have a Blanche Devereaux tissue box.
But
You and I were bidding for things at the Betty White auction.
Here's the thing with me. I did not acquire that tissue box.
I know that one was a gift.
It was given to me. And so for me personally, I'm just like, oh, whatever. I just don't think about those things. You know what I mean? It's not my style.
Box.
I have a tissue box, and that's where I put all my drag money. Like when I come home from a show and I have my tips, I put it in the tissue box because now I have a purpose for it. But thank you, Rue. It's a whole thing.
Do you know that Rue's first name is Eddie Rue with a hyphen? Isn't that cute?
Eddie Rue, I love that.
I gotta try to talk Stan into if we ever have another little kid. I was like, if we have a girl, can we name her Eddie Rue? I love that.
Eddie Rue.
Eddie Rue. I think it's really cute.
Well, on this episode, we're going to be talking about the draggiest moments that happened on the Golden Girls. And I think we need to get into it because we have selected some pretty incredible drag/drag adjacent / not drag,
if it
but
feels
drag.
draggy, it's drag. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure we missed
counts.
some, and I'm sure Alaska will impart the ones that we have missed. I don't know. I feel like we have a pretty good list here, but
there are more than I thought we'd have.
Yeah, we have quite a few.
Yes.
So should we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's take a break, and we'll come back with more of the dragginess.
And we are back with Alaska Thunderfuck going over the Golden Girls' draggiest moments. We're not rating these. They're in no particular order. But the number one moment that we have to talk about is Sheriff Dorothy in 1952, Waxahatchee, Mississippi. Oh, I wish I brought my child's harmonica up. I would have started playing it.
Wait, should we play the clip before we talk about it? Let's play the the clip. We have to play this little clip. Hold on.
Evening, Sheriff.
Evening, fellow Waxahatchee.
Evening, Sheriff.
Evening, Biff.
That having Dorothy do drag king-ness. I mean, I want to see Tenderoni in this. I want to see Tenderoni. I also winner of Tenderoni won your pageant, right? A couple years ago. Yes. So Tenderoni, incredible drag king in Chicago. Go check Tenderoni out. But
former guest on the podcast.
But I want to see Tenderoni in that drag. That is a great drag king look on B. Arthur, don't you think?
I love it. In fact, I want to do it. One of my favorite things to do is be a drag queen, but then a drag queen who gets into male drag. So like full drag queen face, but then going the other direction with that.
Do you keep a little bit of the queen in the king?
Well, yes. I just do complete drag woman face, but then just do the like what she's wearing because that's what B. Arthur's doing.
That's what Dorothy did. Yeah, she has makeup on.
And her hair, like she's a woman. She's not even. She's not doing the Landon Sider like male contouring.
No. Can you imagine B. Arthur in that? I would die.
It would be like this.
The way she twirled that baton, like she had such a masculine energy, but it was different from Dorothy's masculine energy. Like she wasn't trying too hard. There there's like a real delicate balance for me playing
Yes.
the sheriff, and her voice felt like it was like 1/8 of a bit deeper, just a little bit, but not too much.
How do you
I
think?
thought, I loved it.
How do you think B. Arthur? I mean, just like pondering, because I mean, we know that like there were certain, like, she didn't like all of the jokes against her character. Like, we know that from like reporting and from Jim's book and all the things. But like, how do you think she felt about sometimes being the masculine one of the bunch and being put in that role because of obviously her size and voice and stuff? Like, how do you think she felt like that?
What season was this from?
Oh,
This was season
5.
2,
Oh, 2.
episode
2.
14, The Actor. So early on.
Yeah.
I don't think she liked this. I think that they tried to justify it with, she's the only one who fit in the costume. Bullshit, you guys. That is so weak.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's preposterous. They're calling her a man, and she hated being called a man. I don't think she liked it. I don't think she
No.
lived for it.
Also, like, I mean, B. Arthur is tall. Like, so, I mean, did they just have a tall person's costume sitting around waiting? Or, you know, or was the other actor tall? Like,
Well, in the lore of the show, Ronald Bromberg came down with the flu, you know,
Mhm.
so he wasn't able to play the sheriff. She's the only one who fits in the costume. So I guess the assumption being that Ronald Bromberg was the
wow.
taller man
Wow. No.
But she's not
with a
even
pot
that
belly
tall.
because they fill it out.
She probably is like, in real life, was probably like 5'9", maybe 5'8". Like,
Yeah.
like a tall woman, but like not tall, not, you know, Sigourney Weaver tall.
She's not even that tall. These other women in the show are just so tiny that
Yeah.
B. Arthur looks gigantic next to them.
Yeah, I feel like I'm with you, Alaska. I feel like she probably wasn't super thrilled about it.
Mhm.
You know, because you're right. They were always get like when she was Turkey Lurkey.
Yeah.
Yes. Like she
Yeah.
had the very, or I guess that was Mr. Sandman. But yeah, there was always, I don't know, or maybe she leaned into it.
But the thing is, she also, like, even though she might not have liked it, she consummate professional. She was gonna do what the writers were putting out there because she loved the writers and they believed in the writers and they always credited the writers. But then also too, like, it's sort of like what I hear a lot of like drag race queens talk about, like, you know, acting challenges on the show and like things like that, where it's like, it doesn't matter the part you have necessarily. If you're good in your abilities, you're gonna make it your own and you're gonna stand out regardless. And I feel like B probably knew that. She knew that in this scene, everyone's gonna remember her. Like, she knew that. And you know, I mean, because she is, to me, she's the most memorable of everyone in this scene. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Evening, fellow Waxahatchee.
But even down to the
This is so
story
good.
and how, you know, Rose and Blanche are fighting over the actor, and like everyone's sort of bickering about this actor. But the fact that like that Dorothy's also in this mix just makes the whole thing funnier because of what she's dressed in, like how she's dressed. Like, it just makes the scene so much better.
You slept with the sheriff? Put your hand down, Ed.
You know that actor went with Ed. You know at least Ed was delivering some kind of handy-ness.
I will never shampoo his hair again, as God is my witness.
Patrick Vaughn.
Patrick Vaughn.
Not even that good looking.
You don't think so? Wait, no. We need to talk about that.
Don't.
You don't think so?
I don't know. But you know what though? I don't know. I mean, but maybe when I reach their age and I look at him, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's what.
See,
I don't know.
of
He
all of
doesn't
them-
do it for me.
Of all of the men, I mean, Jake aside, because Jake is always the ultimate and always the reason for the Jake is Jake. Jake is Jake. But who has that nose tattoo? But I do think that Patrick Vaughn is within the top 5, like with Jake. I mean, Jake's number 1, but I think Patrick Vaughn is in the top 5 of the attractive men that have graced the screens of Golden Girls. Don't you think? I can't think of very many others that were like attractive.
He looks good.
He looks good.
Fine.
Body looks right. Everything looks good. Dick Van Dyke would be in there. He'd be in the top 5 for me too, I think.
Yeah, yes to Dick Van Dyke. I don't know that I agree with you that Patrick Vaughn is in the top 5, maybe in the top 10.
Oh, okay.
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
So hot.
Leslie Nielsen. Also,
Yeah.
there's something about Jerry Orbach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is about Jerry Orbach.
There's something about Jerry Orbach for me,
There's
too.
something, and it's not because he's a candlestick. There's just something about Jerry Orbach in Beauty and the Beast. He was the voice of the candlestick. But I
You know that, but you didn't know that the guy who played the Secret Service agent was Lampy in Brave Little Toaster. How do you... Alaska, H. Allen doesn't know Brave Little Toaster.
Carrie,
I don't know that either.
The
Yeah, see,
audience
we don't
doesn't.
know
We're
this.
spoiling this
but-
because we recorded these out of order.
Yeah,
They'll find out.
They'll find out in a month, that
They'll
conversation.
find out in a month.
Wait, yeah, no, it's amazing. We should get to the next drag look because I'm very
All
eager
right.
for this
So the
one.
next one from season 7, episode 5, Where's Charlie? We will play this clip. It is Stevie the baseball player in Blanche's blue dress.
This is too funny. Blanche!
Stevie? What happened to you?
Blanche, honey, what's happened to me is the most wonderful thing that could happen to a man. And it's all because of you. For the first time in my life, I'm batting .310. And I like myself.
Okay. I will say, question. Do we think, I mean, we know history, TV changes, the way we talk about some things change. Part of me thinks this might be a little problematic, this storyline in this moment in this episode. I don't know. What do you guys think about sort of how the women responded to Stevie? I think Stevie looks hot.
I think he does too.
Top 5?
I mean,
I don't think of him as like
maybe.
I mean, he would be a top 5 because that, I mean,
Yeah.
like my top 5 is dependent
He
upon.
looks really good in it.
He did look really good in that dress.
Can you just picture Judy Evans, like, who's so used to just like fitting the women with all of these dresses, like being like, okay, how am I? Okay, let me find one that, and then she found, I mean, I don't know, maybe they tailored something, maybe they got something made, but she found something that fit him and hugged him in all the right places.
Yeah. And my top 5 is dependent. I mean, I'm going to be very blunt here. My top 5 is fully dependent on if they make me feel safe and I want to see them naked. And so I think Stevie would be in that mix. I think Stevie would be in the top 5 for that reason, because Stevie looks good in this dress.
I think the problematic things here are the audience's, the tenor of their laughter.
Mm-hmm.
Also the ladies' responses to him. But and probably the writer's intention. But if you strip all of those things away, actually this is about a guy who figured out that, like, he either likes the feeling of women's clothes, and maybe that's like unlocked some part of himself that has made him better in every aspect of his life, including baseball.
Yeah.
Which is actually very progressive and pretty cool.
Yeah, if you think about it, it kind of like, it's like all those business, if those business guys are like everyone who wants to wear the women's lingerie underneath their suits or whatever, and they get, I mean, yeah, it's a sexual kink, but they also like get off to it, and it actually makes them like happy during their job and not like maybe not so problematic in other areas of their life. Like if they could talk about it and they could all be like, oh yeah, I like wearing panties too. I mean, that would be so progressive and great. And how many men would probably like benefit from that?
Yeah.
And Blanche too, she recognized, when they were like at the batting cages or whatever, she recognized Stevie's need to find sensuality in the game and that it was going to make him a better baseball player. And she points out that there are many similarities between baseball and making love. When she's all hot and heavy, she's like the unspecified duration of the game. Like,
I mean,
she was right.
wait.
He found the sensuality.
Have either of you ever slept with a baseball player?
Like a professional one?
Or just anyone who's played baseball?
Or like minor league?
Yeah.
No.
I have.
Not really.
I have. I lost my virginity to a baseball player and then later to another baseball player. And I'm going to tell you, baseball players know things and they got legs that are very powerful, like very powerful.
Do you know what position this person played?
I only know the position that benefited me.
Shortstop.
Yes. I don't know anything about positions. All I know is they got thighs that don't end And also
center right field, he could go long.
I mean, so I get the appeal of the intimacy with Stevie fully, but also not related to the drag, but I do want to bring it up. Another moment in this episode when Blanche hits the ball at the batting cages. First off, batting cages are so much fun. Can I just say this right now? Batting cages are so much fun. Secondly, Blanche or Rue McClanahan hitting that ball is in like, I want a tattoo of it. Like I need, like, it's such a perfect moment on the Golden Girls, but it's so small and niche that no one cares. You know it did. You know
it took 100 takes.
And the way she like puts herself back together after she hits it, like, yeah, I showed you I can hit a ball. Like, it is such a good moment.
Girl, it's barely even in. I mean, it would be a foul ball. If it was a game, that would be a foul ball. It went out. It's so low and off to the side.
Yeah.
And she was like
she made contact.
But you know what? You know what? Her response to it being a foul ball would be like, it's a foul here, but I'll show you a home run at home. You know what I mean? Like she would,
there you go.
She would figure out a way to turn it into a positive. And then she would, eventually the story would be like, remember when I hit that home run?
There's nothing foul about the way I make love. Yeah, she would have. Alaska, you're so right, though. She does. She biffs it, and she's like...
Was there no way they could have just, like, punched in, went like this, and then just got the reaction of them both going... like,
that feels like a John Waters shot.
More impactful.
I don't... Because she's saying, you haven't learned half of what I know. Like,
yeah.
He's
like, no.
Also,
that wasn't even a bunt, because at least then you would have been able to take base.
On Stevie's drag, I do want to ask, so on Stevie's drag, like, I do feel like part of me would think, now Blanche does seem kind of shocked by this and kind of like taken aback, but I actually think if it was maybe not the year that it was, and if like maybe Blanche was like, you know, if she was perhaps had some years on her, I think she would have found this to be kind of a hot thing that Stevie would want to, like, was so in touch with who he is that it could only mean that he's great in the bedroom then. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Blanche would have been more excited that Stevie wanted to wear women's clothes and like get off to that, you know?
I think that I just looked up a picture
of him.
the
Clayton episodes, and I'm like, would she though?
Yeah,
because remember, she did when Sophia said that Clayton and Doug were like skipping as they were walking, when she was like, "Oh no," and looked out the window. So I'd like to think yes,
but
and maybe yes.
Wait, what did you look up, Alaska?
I looked up a picture of Stevie. He looks great. The earrings really set it off.
The earrings are kind of, I mean, it's jujube drag in terms of mall drag. Let's be real. Like, it is not completely. Like, it is very, very everyday woman drag, but it is still, he looks good.
He looks good. And I think Blanche would be into this behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. She's very socially conservative, but sexually liberal. So I think that she probably would have no boundaries with this if it was behind closed doors, but Stevie's going out and he's like going, you know, out in public dressed.
And that causes a problem for Blanche.
That's the problem.
Yeah. She's
conservative.
She's socially conservative, but bedroomly liberal. If that makes sense.
I mean, her
she's
name
a socialist.
is
She's a socialist in the bedroom.
Yes. She's a full-on communist. Anyone's welcome. Line up. Yeah. Wait, we need to take a break and we'll come back with more of the draggiest moment of the Golden Girls.
And we are back talking about the draggiest moments on the Golden Girls with Alaska Thunderfuck. Our next moment is from season 2, episode 22, Diamond in the Rough. Speaking of Jake, the jazz band.
I love these. Wait, I'm going to play this. It's a short clip.
So confused.
Honey, you think you're confused? Take a look at our horn section.
I want to see that horn section. I really do. I really do. I love... Oh, wait. Who was the actor? Because this guy was in Beetlejuice.
So it was Glenn Shattuck, who was Otho in Beetlejuice, Father Ripper in Heathers, which I feel like are movies that I mean, they both have very like specific looks to them, but I also feel like those are very like sort of culty, especially Heather's. I feel like is such a
I don't know if
culty,
he was
fun
queer in real
gay
life, but
movie.
I liken him to a queer icon. I don't know why, but I feel like he is queer adjacent icon if he is not queer. You know what I mean?
I get a vibe from him.
Especially in this episode.
But sometimes you never know. Sometimes those actors who just always play gay characters,
Like on Sex and the City, Kerri's best friend. Oh my God, blanking on the name. But Kerri's best friend, her gay friend, is not gay in real life.
My friend?
No, Kerri on Sex and the City.
Oh.
Did I not say Sex and the City? Did I not say Sex and the City? I'm sorry. Kerri Bradshaw, not Kerri Doherty Bush.
I was like, I have a friend who was on Sex and the City. I was looking behind me as if you were literally talking to someone else.
No, but yeah, no, the actor, rest in peace, was not gay in real life. Yeah, I forget the actor's name.
Everybody's screaming at the podcast right now.
You speak and I'll Google.
Okay, well, I will say fun fact about Glenn Shaddix, who was the jazz performer in 2010. So one of his final credits before he passed away in 2010 was a project called Finding Gauguin, which of course reminded me of Sophia's line, "What are you, a pervert? I was married for 45 years. I never even saw my husband Gauguin." I've seen a Gauguin in person. It was beautiful.
Have you? Wow.
Yeah, I liked Gauguin. I mean, he was probably terrible because he was probably like, I think he was like over in Tahiti, probably like, like sleeping with underage girls, which isn't called sleeping with, it's called statutory rape.
Yes. Yeah. The actor in Sex and the City, by the way,
was beautiful.
His name's Willie Garson, and the character's name is Stanford.
Yes.
Blanche, of course.
I have a wonderful pair of Gauguins.
Wait, Alaska, how do you rate this drag though from this moment? Like what? Because this to me is kind of elevated drag because I feel like A, there's more makeup involved in this for this scene, and B, I feel like there is the dress, it feels to be like on them a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? It feels like they're owning the look a little bit more than Stevie maybe was.
The look is great. I mean, and I wish that the camera could just pan over and show us the full band. This is the only reason why we need like an HBO like reimagining of the Golden Girls. So they could do a big budget banquet where you see the whole band. They do like a full number.
Yes.
They have a horn section.
So it's a big band.
How big is this band? And they're all in drag, like, but it's kind of like skag drag a little bit. Like it's not super glamorous. It's just like, let's go.
Very like, let's just go. Put on some lipstick, put on some eyeshadow, a dress that fits. Let's go. You know?
That is something. Talk about like a super deep cut costume. If you were to go to Golden Con and you just see the horn section.
Someone did it at the first Golden Con. I think at the first Golden Con, someone did it.
All the horns.
And it was a man with like a beard. They had a beard. Well, I don't know if they were a man, but like a person with a beard and the full look. And I was just like, get it, girl. Get it, girl. Because I'm there as like Sadie, doing drag. And like this man was just like, no, this is my deep cut. This is my deep cut. I love it.
That's
Own it.
hot.
Right? So hot. So perfect. Also, too, we just need to say, like, before we even go into the next drag look, how much these women, particularly B. Arthur and Rue McClanahan, loved drag queens. Like and Estelle Getty too. I don't know how much Betty. I know Betty loved drag queens, but like we have more evidence of B, Rue, and Estelle loving drag queens, and like it warms my heart that like seeing B. Arthur or Rue McClanahan on the Dame Edna show back in the early 90s, and how much fun they were having with Dame, and how much fun they're having with drag queens, and like even be in the PETA Laugh-In sort of spoof that they had with next to Lady Bunny, and like you can just tell that they just loved being around drag queens, and it just warms my heart to see all those YouTube footage videos of like them around drag queens, you know?
Have you ever watched clips of the Beatrice Arthur television special?
Oh, yes, we have. And on a recent episode, I think maybe even last week, we did the one, I think, was that for Rusty Anchor or was that for the main episode? I think it was Rusty Anchor. Yeah, it was.
It was Rusty
Because
Anchor.
on the Rusty Anchor on our Patreon, we're doing a breakdown of the gayest non-gay Golden Girls or non-Golden Girls moments of these girls' lives. And B. Arthur singing about drugs with Rock Hudson from the B. Arthur special 1980 on CBS, aired on network television, her being like talking about angel dust in a song.
Yeah. She also, in that special, does like scenes with Madam, the puppet. So, like, this is just the gay. I mean, this woman knows her way around some gay culture. She's not really, I mean.
You know, one of my favorite things ever, and this is, I remember this, I remember the first, one of the, not only was the first time you came over to my apartment, but one of the times you came over to my apartment, and it reminded me so much of what I would imagine B. Arthur would do. Maybe it was the first time. You came over and you were like, do you want me to take my shoes off? And and I was like, no, I don't want you to take your shoes off because I don't live in that kind of home. But I immediately thought of it. And then you were like, do you have any wine? And it was just so like, it was so specific to what I would imagine B. Arthur doing coming over. Although she would not ask about taking the shoes off. She would just
take them off.
Do it. But yeah,
she'd take them off and go find somewhere to put these.
Yeah. Yeah. You gave me that energy, Alaska, fully, the bee energy in that moment.
I love that. And she would pour the glass of wine all the way full.
All the way full. All the way full. 1000%.
And I believe the first time you came over with like sleepy masks with your eyes printed on them. So we also put those on and took a photo.
Yeah.
Like here are my eyes. Here's a piece of me.
Well, that was the crazy thing about that time. I mean, I know we talked about it on the podcast before, but you know, why not do it on video? That you specifically told me that we needed to air the or we needed to have the episode come out around the Drag Race finale of your winning All Stars. I didn't know I had not watched your All Star season at that point. I had not I was not in that world. So it was a full surprise to me. And then of course you didn't know if you were going to win or not, but like you won. And then we released the episode goes crazy and everyone starts texting me because everyone knows who you are. And I'm the idiot that was just like, oh, well, it's just this cool person that I know now who this is not my point of reference, but yay, I'm glad you're happy, people. You know, like it was such a wild moment in the show's history that we're all very proud of.
Oops, I lost my place. Oh, okay. Before we get into the next one, speaking of the B. Arthur and Rock Hudson, if you are not part of the GG VIP Club this week, so all month long for Pride, we're breaking down the ladies of the Golden Girls' gayest non-gay, non-Golden Girls moments. And this week we're covering Rue McClanahan, and there are some so wild moments.
One involves Dustin Hoffman. One involves a commercial. There's some crazy moments.
Yes. So you can go to patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast where you can sign up, get all of the bonus content. And for those in the Miami Program Museum Director tier, our next live watch along will be on June 22nd. I believe that's a Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, and it's a Pride themed episode that you're all currently voting on. We're either going to watch Jean the Lesbian, Gil Kessler, or Pat and Kathy Image Consultants, and you can vote. So check out the GG VIP Club.
I low-key hope. I'm not going to influence the vote. No, I'm not going to say what I hope. So should we get to the next drag look?
Yes. So the next one is just Phil. Phil as a character.
We never saw Phil, but we know, I mean, we don't need to get background on Phil. Everyone knows about Phil, but Phil was Dorothy's brother who was a crossdresser, I think would be the appropriate term. What would it be? I don't know, actually. What would be the appropriate term nowadays for how Phil would identify? What do you think, Alaska?
Yeah, he was the crossdresser. He liked to dress up in ladies' clothes because he liked it, but he was just like straight.
Yeah. And the fact that Phil this is what I always loved about the character and how they represented the character, that Phil just enjoyed wearing women's clothes, and Phil was able to not only find a partner that celebrated who they were and who he is and Big Sally and who and who he is, but also he was able to have a family and have, love in his life, and like very rare, I think, for a lot of probably cross-dressers out there who have to do it in secret, you know?
He got married to Brenda Vaccaro. Oh
Do you
my
follow-
God!
So good.
Should we all be so lucky? Have you ever seen Supergirl?
Have I ever seen Supergirl? Of course, with Faye Dunaway.
I just saw it like a couple of weeks ago for the first time, and I was like, it was like an awakening. I was like, this is the most beautiful.
Yes.
Like when she's flying through the countryside, I was like brought to tears. I was like, this is such a beautiful
Brenda Vaccaro
story.
is a gift, and you need to see immediately. Go to whatever you need to go to and buy Barbra Streisand's The Mirror Has Two Faces. She plays Barbara's best friend in the film.
Oh yeah.
And it is such a good moment being like, do you want to split my burger? Like, and they have the whole like perfect bite moment and all of those. I mean, Brenda Vaccaro, I follow her on Instagram and it is a delight. And I highly encourage everyone else to do so as well. I love Brenda Vaccaro.
We should try to get her on the podcast.
I wonder if she would do it. She probably would. I'll DM her.
DM her.
Yeah.
Do that.
I mean, I wonder if she's responding, if she's looking at her DMs. I have a feeling she might be a post and go gal.
I don't know.
I'm
Only one way to
literally
find out.
following her right now.
Yes!
Brenda Vaccaro.
Oh, she's so good.
She's so
It is.
good.
It is really interesting about Phil that we meet so many of these women's family members, their siblings, their grandchildren, their ex-husbands. And, you know, we meet Phil's wife, but we never meet Phil.
Yeah.
And I have to wonder if, like, the stories that Dorothy would tell about him, if his character started off almost as like a joke, and then they were like, oh, well, maybe this could be more of a serious thing. And then, oh, well, we don't really quite know how to tackle this character. Like, maybe they just didn't quite know how to play it if they were to bring him on. You know, like, do either one of you have theories about why we never actually met him?
I'll Alaska, you answer first, because I have a theory.
Well, I thought it was elegant how they did deal with him in the end, because he was always a punchline, and it was always like Phil's a loser and Phil's, you know, a cross-dresser and Phil's kind of a weirdo. That was always the like storyline. But then when he died, it humanized him, and we got to see like his wife, and we got to see his poker buddies. Talk about drag. I mean, those shapely figures
with the hats
coming down the row.
Oh.
So I thought it was very elegant, because that was a way of humanizing him without making it like a spectacle or, you know, whatever.
There's also, I think, an element of, and this is what I find so poignant about the episode that, you know, Phil's funeral episode. Oh, not Phil. That at the beginning of the series, 1985, you know, we didn't even have a word for HIV at that point. Like we had, like it did not exist. And I'm not connecting that, but I'm connecting the gay rights movement to this, that like there was so much misinformation and misunderstanding of queer identity, and any queer identity, even cross-dresser. Like there was just so much unknown that it was just a punchline. And as the series went on, and this being, I think this episode is what, 5th or 6th season? I think 6th season actually. And it's later, it's into the 90s. And we've now, because unfortunately of HIV/AIDS, but also of just sort of the gay rights movement, we're more aware. And the women, of course, were always at the front lines, always anyway, of supporting queer people and queer rights. But society catched up to the point where they could do an episode where Phil wasn't the punchline, where Phil was, you know, it was a poignant sort of portrayal of who this man was. And so you're really seeing sort of the advancement of queer rights as the show goes on, with this episode being a button of like, we're finally at a place where we can celebrate Phil and who this character was, even though we've never seen who this person is. You know, I think it's actually kind of beautiful.
What Phil was a good husband and a good man.
Please send Brenda Vaccaro a message, and she
say,
will be like, I don't remember it.
I don't remember it. I know. Who is that?
Should we do the next one?
Now,
Let's do the next one.
Yes. So the next one is, I'm going to hold up a photo. It's going to be on my phone for both of you, but we will add it.
We'll add it in
our
post.
Viewers can see it. But from the Stan who came to dinner and the commitments, I have both Stan and Don, aka Ringo from Beatlemania, both men that Dorothy has slept with, and have come out into the common areas of the house the following morning wearing her bathrobe.
Yes.
Okay. Can we talk about this bathrobe? So this is not quite drag, but it is drag adjacent, I would say, right? Wouldn't you say, Alaska?
There must be like a through line of like this being a joke in sitcoms. The guy coming out and he's wearing the woman's nightgown.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just the Golden Girls. I think this was like a trope.
Yes, I agree.
I don't think it's drag, but I think it was like man in woman's clothes. That's funny.
Yeah. Also,
I particularly enjoyed Terry Kaiser's chest hair.
Yes. There was something about the way he looked in that robe and something about a silk robe that like it makes your mind go places.
She loves you. Yeah.
We can see it. We can see how much she loves you. You know what I mean?
You know, Dorothy, they were lying in bed and she was just twirling her fingers through that
Stan in the
forest
robe
of chest hair.
I will, and I've been this on the podcast. I've been a Stan advocate. I think early days of this podcast, I have a love and appreciation for Stan. Not so much in a sexual sense, but in like I do think he's a complicated but good man. And him coming out in that robe, oddly to me, wasn't weird at all. Wasn't even a joke. I was just like, of course he would. Of course he would. He's going to make himself comfortable and at home wherever he is. And in this situation, yeah, the most natural thing for him to do is to wear Dorothy's robe. And he looks good in it.
I guess it's like so preposterous. Like if what I would do, and I'm a cross dresser, I wouldn't go like rooting through the closet and find I would just put my clothes back on that I wore and like maybe just my undershirt with the pants. But then again, it's that's not hilarious like a sitcom is.
Yeah.
But like that's I wonder if this is like a thing that men actually ever did, or it was just a way in sitcoms to telegraph that this is a guy who slept over and now it's kind of awkward.
I think the latter. I think the latter.
That's what it is.
In Stan's case, I do think it's intentional. In Stan's case, I think he puts on the robe because he thinks he's going to get more. He's going to get more of whatever was happening in that bedroom.
Oh,
and
so he's just he's like basically just throwing you might as well throw a sheet on. He's just coming out to the kitchen to be like, do I smell pancakes? No. Could I smell pancakes? And then he's going to take the stack and go back into the bedroom.
And go back into the bedroom and wait for Dorothy to come back because he's not going to bother putting on his clothes because it could happen again, which give him credit.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Thank you. Should we do the final? Is it the final Draggiest? I think it's the final one. Yeah,
our last one.
Which I think I'm going to say is I think this. We didn't rank these, but I do think that this is my favorite drag moment of all of the Golden Girls. I do.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I did a little Vanessa Williams. I saved the best for last. It's from You Gotta Have Hope, season 4, episode 17, The Golfers in the Locker Room. Let's play that moment.
Excuse me, you guys got any extra shaving cream?
Sure. This is so weird. I've never been in a men's locker room before.
Neither have I. I really like the new carpet. Me neither.
This moment, I am obsessed. I mean, Dorothy looks like Dorothy to me. That's like what Dorothy would wear to go.
Her hair isn't covered.
Yeah.
She's the only one whose hair is not covered because she's got the shorter, much shorter look.
And Rose wearing her pants so high up that
up to her chin
is such a perfect styling note and a genius. But it is Blanche. It is the most feminine of all of the women on the Golden Girls, looking legitimately like a middle-aged Jewish man, like going golfing, like could pass as an actual man on a lot of levels, just at the golfing. What do they call those places? The golfing club, golfing whatever. I don't know. Golf course.
I think they're at the country club.
Country club. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Room.
Yeah. That Blanche could pass for an actual man in this situation. I mean, what do you guys think? I think I would.
She would hate that.
I know she would, but look at her.
I wish that she had complained about it. Sorry, go ahead, Alaska.
To me, I give top marks here to Betty White. I think that she dove in the most to like drag kinging. And I think that like hiking the pants up really high was sort of clowning on like men her age, and like, and even Bob Hope, who's in this episode.
Yeah.
Like that's sort of like really going for it. I thought she did such a good job. Blanche, I love that you think she's passing as if she's her movements are so
well, of course, no. Her movements are very like a gay man. Like her movements are very feminine. Yes, you're right. You're right.
She can't butch it up no matter how hard she tries.
But just look visually. If she wasn't moving, just visually.
I'm really trying to. I'm trying to find another picture so
me,
I can try.
For me, she looks like the Jewish grandpa who's just so sweet, who just goes to the country club, and he goes to the one that isn't like ignorant, that what's her name, Dorothy's friend would not let her. Thorndike, thank you. He's not going to that country club. He's going to one he can go to, and he's just out there playing golf, being a good old Jewy grandpa. And that's Blanche to me in this episode, only visually. Once she starts gesticulating, it becomes a gay man doing Vogue. Yes.
She's also, I mean, her outfit is her shirt is very shapeless. And it's long. It's going like past her hips, kind of past her butt. So she does kind of look like a stick figure. And she does, out of her and Betty White, because obviously Dorothy is wearing a windbreaker, which I think is very funny.
Yeah.
But
good.
She is smaller chested too, Betty White, the pants up to the tits is the funniest thing.
Well, because Betty White has boobs. I mean, she has
so
boobs.
robust.
Yeah.
That is a bosom. And so that, to me, that's a very funny look. But yeah, Blanche, I mean, she's like me. She's,
She's just, I mean,
she's practically concave.
Can you do that for Halloween one year? Just be Blanche in this episode and wear that drag, Kerri.
I'd love that.
Please. Maybe at our next live show. That's your drag.
I'd love that.
Wow.
I'll do that.
We could do this as a three-way look. We really could.
Wait, so then...
Okay, who's who?
Yeah, I mean...
Sam Snead with a hormone problem. I mean, I'll be whoever you. I'll be.
I think you have to be Dorothy, Alaska, because you are tall and you're thin.
Yeah.
And I have. I mean, if you put me in a corset and I got the bosoms, like I'll be shaking.
You'll do better than.
Yeah.
Yeah. People. I'd be very unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think I could. Yeah. I could play.
That's the next live show.
Blanche.
That's the next live show, y'all. We have a guest. Alaska, of course, will be a guest. So yeah. Well, I did want to talk to you about that too, Alaska. So that's coming soon.
So down.
So fun. So well, Alaska. So we've covered all of the drag looks. Do any other moments come to mind that are of draggiest stature of the Golden Girls? I can't think of. Maybe Turkey Lurkey. You could argue maybe a Turkey Lurkey is draggy.
You could. I mean, y'all's list was so comprehensive, and I really appreciate that. There's really no stone left unturned. The only thing, I mean, I think of them as being in drag all the time, like whenever they're in bed,
yes,
and they're just like
full makeup,
yes, yes,
like. You got like what? This is why we need the HBO remake. They can be gritty and kind of,
I've said this to you before, but I still think the HBO gritty remake needs to be Allison Janney as Dorothy, Sally Field as Sophia, Angela Bassett as Blanche, and I don't quite have the Rose yet, but I kind of feel like it needs to be Loretta Devine. That's just I got.
It's great casting.
We need it.
We need it.
To your point, Alaska, because as someone who, not lately, but in my 20s, certainly, I would go out all night and I would come home and I would be too tired to wash my face and I would go to bed. And the next morning, my entire face would be printed on the blanket or my pillow case because I didn't wash my makeup off. And so those women must be constantly laundering pillowcases.
Yeah.
Because and lipstick, lipstick and the
hair. The
mascara.
hair is always so perfectly like hairsprayed and everything. Like it's all, especially in those helmet hair days of Dorothy, like it is set. Everything is set. There is no, you cannot, and they all sleep on their backs, which is wild to me because I can't for the life of me. My doctor keeps
Only
saying
on
it's
your
for the best.
back,
I can't do it.
Blanche.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh, Dorothy, why did you tell me about this before? Yes, definitely. Well, so okay, we're gonna take a break, but we'll come back with, of course, golden takeaways from this episode, which Alaska, you must stick around for. So yes, we'll be right back. And we are back with our golden takeaways, which is a nugget of truth or inspiration that you can apply to your life or the lives of our listeners. Now, Alaska, this is not your first time at this rodeo, so you know what a golden takeaway is, but we'll still go first because, we don't want to put you on the spot. So, Kerri, I'll put you first.
And make you feel jumpier than a virgin at one. Okay.
What's your golden takeaway this week, Kerri?
So if GoldenCon ever happens again, which I really hope it does, I feel like I want to have a drag moment. And so maybe you can help me come up with a drag persona, but I think I may already have a name.
Oh, what?
I think I want to be Kristoff St. Olaf.
That's good. I like that.
He's going to be very much a farmer.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
And there's going to be herring and maybe like dried herring.
Oh, yeah.
On a string as part of my. This is why I need your help. I'm really bad at this.
A herring necklace.
Maybe you can.
I could see.
Maybe a herring like a bone herring necklace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, something. But I need to work on it. But Kristoff St. Olaf, I think is.
Okay.
I think that's a good name. I think that's a good. I like how Kerri can totally tell that both Alaska and I are like, maybe work on the name. Maybe work on the name.
I'll just be Chugger Deets. All right, that's fine. Well, then I'm just cosplaying, right? I can't be.
I mean, you could
be Chugger Deets.
Could be. I
mean, I could be Chugger Deets.
We'll work on it.
I don't know.
We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you in some drag king moments at the next live show for sure.
Yes,
for sure. Well, my golden takeaway from this episode is I don't think I've maybe talked about it before on the podcast, but I don't think I've ever gone into depth about it before. But my drag name actually comes from Alaska, your friend. Oh, you know this, but in a group chat with Jeremy and you years ago, because I was struggling to come up with what my name could be, and it was Jeremy that said Sadie Pines, and so that is why Sadie Pines is the name, obviously, is the existence of the name. So I have so much to credit. Well, I mean, I have a lot to credit to Alaska in terms of just, and in this podcast too, just sort of becoming and doing drag and all of the things, like it all sort of came out of this podcast, but the name quite literally came from, you could say, the House of Thunderfuck. And for that, I am very grateful, and that is my golden takeaway. I'm still not giving you any money that I ever make, though. I'm not giving you a percentage of anything, Alaska.
Okay,
sorry.
I don't get a point.
No, you
off the back end.
Nope, you don't get any points off the back end, but you will get a special thanks in the book someday, I'm sure.
Okay, yes. Great. I remember the boosts, and I won't mention the kicks.
What's your golden takeaway, Alaska?
Do you know that I think Jeremy, if Jeremy was a side character on the Golden Girls, he would be Madame Zelda, who's moving into the house. Move into this house and you'll die a grisly death.
Wait, you need to explain Jeremy for listeners and Jeremy's role in your life so people can follow him too, because I don't think they know too much about Jeremy.
Jeremy's my best friend for over 20 years. We've bonded over music, the Golden Girls, and just about everything in our lives. So definitely follow him on Instagram. Hold on, I'm gonna look him up. Yeah, handsome Jeremy 777.
Jeremy's a delight, and everyone should, and very talented too. Very talented.
Yes.
Yes.
My golden takeaway is if you're ever at a country club and you are approached by three individuals
in a locker room,
do not make some sort of snotty comment about antiques dealers on the membership board, because you know what? It's 2024, honey. Yeah. And this is a gender neutral fucking locker room.
Mm-hmm.
So these individuals are welcome as everyone else.
Yes, exactly. Doesn't matter if they sell antiques or have hopes of Bob Hope being their father. they can
Unless they're at the Mortimer Club, in which case, burn it down.
burn it down. Burn
Quit
it
the
down.
But if they're at the Maltese Falcon Club, light it up. Okay, I feel like I bought back
This
that
has
Christoph
been-
St. Olaf moment for myself.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You worked it out. This has been
I
so
worked it
much
out.
fun, Alaska. Where can I mean? This is coming out soon. So where can people follow what you're doing? And do you have anything coming up that people need to be checking out?
Oh, geez. Well, you can follow me on Instagram at the Only Alaska 5000. And I just put out a song called Sweatpants. So I recommend giving it a listen on all streaming platforms.
Oh, that's exciting. Wait, is the sweatpants a
I'm
reference
excited
to
to hear it.
like? I mean, I can't wait to hear it. But like gray sweatpants, or like, is it that direction, or is it just more like comfort direction?
It's surprisingly not about dick imprints in sweatpants. It is about the comfort and coziness of athleisure wear.
I do support that fully. Although I did just see a very funny meme about gray sweatpants that I do need to share with everybody right now because it's my new holiday cookie, and it's just that it's gray sweatpants season, and it's a cookie that has a bulge in it.
That's cute. So fun.
So this year, I'll text it to you guys, but this year, that's my holiday cookie. Just FYI.
Okay,
that's what you're getting.
great.
So, and
I'm excited to receive a tin.
Yeah. Receive it. Great.
Share them with my child.
Thank you. Yes. Well, she needs to get ready for what her uncle's going to do.
Yeah.
Yes. She's coming to the live show. She's going to see a lot of stuff. So, yes. Well, thank you again, Alaska. We're going to do some business, but stick around because we have a special thing that you need to do with us at the end, obviously.
Everybody, this has been another episode of Out on the Lanai. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, you can check out the GG VIP Club at patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast, and you can watch the video version of this episode on Patreon if you're a member of the GG VIP Club, or on YouTube this upcoming Monday.
Well, this one you can watch the day it comes out, so on YouTube.
Oh, that's
so,
right.
yes.
We're doing that this month.
Yeah, so you can just see it the day it comes out, which you should, because this is a fun episode to watch with clips and, of course, Alaska. And so, yeah, watch away on the YouTubes. You can also, you need to know, as we've talked about, we are part of Mom, Moguls of Media, with right here, the Queen, the President, the CEO. What do you call yourself, Alaska, of Mom? You're the CEO. No.
Motion operative movie.
So close.
Yes, we are part of Mom. Go support Mom Plus and all the fantastic podcasts over at Mom. You can also follow us on the socials at Golden Girls Pod on the Tweeties, Out on the Lanai Official on the Instagrables, on the Facebookals. You can go to Golden Girls Pod, and I'm HAlanScott / Sadie Pines on most everything.
And I'm Squid Eats Squid on Twitter and Squidsy on Instagram, which is just photos of my baby child person.
Fun. Okay, this is it. This is
Christoph St. Olaf on all platforms.
I got to get him now. I gotta snatch those up.
Got to. Okay, this is your moment, Alaska. You ready? Okay, and remember,
as always,
stay golden. Oh my God, I can't wait for the live show. Oh my God. Oh my God.
We thank you so much.
We should sing that at the next live show.
We should.
Out on the Lanai is not endorsed by Whit Thomas Harris Productions, Touchstone Television, Disney, or any of its subsidiaries. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only.
All names, pictures, audio, and video clips of the Golden Girls are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.